Hello fellow Neomancers. Firstly, I want to announce the new quick start rules for Neomancer, which should be available by the mid of January. In there you will find pre-generated characters, a sample operation and all the rules you need to have about 3 hours of fun. After the release we would be very happy about feedback in any way about this. On the screen right now you see our little gaming group playtesting said quick start rules, and since this is a time-lapse video I will provide some information. The first step in Neomancer is to get a job at all. And this is a very narrative phase where you just talk it out, and in this case our operators go into a bar named the Dirty Dutch where you can get jobs of any kind. A job broker is someone who can get you jobs to gain money, credits and so on, and gear maybe, but the more people you know, the better are your chances to get a good job. So, since these are beginning operators, they have not too many jobs to choose from, so they talk to Vicious Winnie, a known broker, which offered them a little job to get to extract some data from the Jinjiao Corporation, megacorps, which is not evil by itself, but it's a high valuable target. So, the operators can just accept the job, but since they have different attributes and are in a narrative phase, they try to haggle a bit to get a bit more credits, to get something more from the job. Yeah, and they fail, so they don't get anything. This phase is not played with any kind of map, but there are some skill checks involved, maybe, because it's heavy role-playing to try to get a little better job, to get some informations out of the broker or other contacts. Now, since they have a job, they break out the map. This is where the legwork phase starts. The map is not needed for this phase, but it helps to visualize where you are in the operation. And the legwork phase is a narrative heavy phase. Every player can now decide if he or she wants to contribute to the intrusion or the extraction. As you can see, or not see because it's not so big on the screen, two phases are blocked on the map at the moment, because it's a very tiny job and it gets done very quick. But there's a legwork phase. And in the legwork phase, in real time, every player get a little mini narrative which lasts about 5 to 7 minutes. The other players can contribute, of course, they can discuss the options of the player, but cannot partake as characters. So a typical legwork play would be our hacker, who now tries to get some information about the target and fails. And you see the little line is with red dice is the firewall. If you fail in the legwork phase, the firewall of the target increases. This means someone has noticed something. Something happened. Someone is suspicious of the things happening at the target. It's not that bad because the firewall can increase to 12, but here you see another die goes into the firewall. That's 2 dice because Raven, he sits on the right, tried to intimidate a guard who's working there to get some information, and the guard was much stronger than her, so she didn't succeed, and another person at the target is suspicious. So the legwork phase was not that good at this point. One of our operators here has success, but he doesn't want to improve the intrusion. He tries to improve the extraction, get an asset to drive them away when they're done with the job. This gets 2 dice to the extraction roll later. And this ends the legwork phase. It's about 5 to 7 minutes per player, which is here in this case about 15 to 20 minutes, purely narrative, where you roleplay, where you talk to other NPCs, where you make contacts, to go to your old contacts, talk to them, activate them, and maybe get some more information about the job to get the job done smoothly. After that, after the legwork phase, we start the operation. The operators roll for intrusion. Since Winnie gave them some guard uniforms, they have a fair share of dice. They use 4 against the target's defense, who's 2 at the moment, and they cannot add anything because the legwork phase didn't pay off. So they try to roll, and this roll determines how much success they have in the intrusion. And it works very well. They can get in as guards and enter the Jinjiao Corporation's building where they want to extract the data, what is the job. Now they're standing in a big hall there's a lobby, and they try to figure out where to go. Where could the data be? Because the legwork phase didn't get any information about this. And now a hacker tries to extract informations from a terminal, while our face player, also the role of a face, is in this case someone who persuades people, intimidates people, and just is a good talker, a sweet talker. And he talks to an biopod, our concept of androids, which is in this case a girl or 5 girls who look absolutely the same and are waiting in the lobby to tell visitors where to go and what to see here in the Yin Yao Corporation's building, what is interesting, and so on. The map helps here to organize the play. In phase 1, or every phase if you want, you're playing narratively, and every time a narrative check fails, one die goes to the firewall, which means you erase suspicion. Someone noticed strange behavior, something is off. So every botched roll increases the possibility of someone noticing you, and every resistance you may encounter is bigger the higher the firewall is. So they succeed here. They check they narratively manage to get on in the mission, and they find out their data is in the 22nd floor, and they try to use the elevator. Now the game master decides at this point, okay, now we're entering phase 2. This was the obstacle you had to find, where is the data. Now in phase 2 you try to get to the data. Now they try to hack the elevator, which fails, and they try to tinker with its electronics, but fail also. And so they use brute force to get past the elevator and climb through the vents to get to the floor. Now the use of force is not good for an operator team, so you see the firewall has increased. This is because every fight increases the firewall at least by 1. If there is a lot of gunfire and killing involved, it may increase by 2. So the target knows something is up. There was gunfire somewhere in the building. Operators are very quick, they can change positions, and they may mitigate this firewall, but it's not that easy. Now they have broken into the room where they want to extract the data by sheer force in this case. I won't narrate everything that is going on in this room, but let's say it's very narrative. There are 2 workers there. They try to intimidate them, they try to convince them to give them the data, but they have not success at first. And it takes very long time, which also increases the firewall and makes it harder to escape in this case. As you see here, the firewall has increased to 12. Our operators, let's be honest here, botched everything, narratively and dice-wise. They didn't roll very good, but their approach to the whole situation was a little bit flawed. So now they have to make their extraction roll. Luckily, one of them has prepared for extraction and reserved 2 dice. You see them on the map, maybe it's a little small, and they have 2 dice naturally to get away, and they may roll 4 dice. But the firewall sets the difficulty of this task, and a DEFCON 1 firewall is very hard task to get away from, and so they roll 4 dice, they gather through legwork and information against the 3 of the firewall, and they did not succeed. And now there are several options here. I won't go into details, you can see them in the quick start guide. There may be a flight, there may be an arrest, and there may be other things when you fail that roll. Maybe you get no money from this operation, maybe one of you gets arrested or something like that. It's not that good what happens, but it's not a deal breaker for the whole group, and you can go on with another operation, or in this case after a normal operation comes the already mentioned meta operation. I hope this video helped to understand what the game is about, what a Neomancer operation is about, and Neomancer is not a board game, it is very narrative in all the phases, and all the elements like maps we use are to structure it visually. So you know where you are in the operation, you know the resistance that is coming up. There may be some tricks and there may be some ruses by the game master or even by the operators, but that's too much now for a quick introduction video. And I hope you liked it, I hope you get the concept of Neomancer, and we are happy to provide the quick start rules in the next week so you can test it for yourself. Bye!